Good morning, biology students, and welcome back to the channel. We are here in our last unit, which will be ecology, and I am very excited to give you a little tour about that and give you some options for learning. Great work on the evolution stuff. I've graded most of your stuff except for the project that was due yesterday, and I'm pretty excited to look at your aliens when they're all done. Oh, all right, well, let's share a screen here and let's see what we're doing here with your last unit. Okay, so this one is the ecology e-learning. It'll be right at the top of the page for you. Should be good for you. If you click on this one, it's going to go to the modules, and you can see that at the bottom. It'll tell you modules. If that's the way you want to go through it, that's great. Otherwise, most people like to click on this one. It'll show you the actual web pages. So why don't you click on that one, and you're going to choose your own adventure. So on the first day of your learning, I want you to go ahead and pick which way you want to go. So we have two different pathways. You can choose traditional ecology. Hey, chemists, just give me some notes, give me a worksheet, give me a little practice quiz, and I can do that every day. Great, this is the way you want to go. Go to traditional. If you would like to learn in a new, different, more reflective, on your own kind of way, and follow your own learning, your own research, journal a little bit about it, choose the challenge side. You want to go to challenge. This is a little bit more free and open, and there will be 7 or 8 activities for you to choose from to do that. Both are worth 50 points, so that should be the same. Both don't have a test or project at the end. It's about completing the tasks and staying on your learning for the day. So whichever way you want to go, I'll show you both ways, and you can work through those. All right, so here's the traditional way, and this is all laid out on the modules as well. So for each date, you will have a topic, an assignment, your learning targets, and vocabulary. The vocabulary is rather tough for ecology, so pay attention to that. There's a lot of words. Some of them you might know. Some of them you might have to work on a little bit or refresh your memory. Don't get excited that this assignment is just one thing. There's a lot of things embedded into each day. So here's your tasks of population changes, community interactions, energy flow and pyramids, climate change, and invasive species and succession here at the end. So that would be the end. And notice the date, May 29th. There will be no new instructional materials that last week. That was a catch up. Finish things. Talk to your teacher a week in June if you need help getting caught up and time to finish strong and get the grade that you want. That is going to be in June. So technically, I mean, with this being the last unit, you could finish today or tomorrow. You could go through all these, spend a few hours or more, whichever way it goes, and you could be done today or tomorrow. It's kind of exciting. The other way you could choose to go is, oh, hold on, I wanted to show you what one of the learning days would look like. So if you click on this first one, there would be several things to do for each day, okay? Watch a lecture. This one's 17 minutes. It's the usual notes that we would have in class. Or you watch this one, it's like 6 minutes on YouTube. Not a lot of talking though, but they do show the key concepts. Take a practice quiz. This is from Bioman. And then you do have some choices here as well. You can make a similar instructional video using the vocab and diagrams on your own, or you could do the worksheet, which links to Google Docs. Here I opened it already. Here's the essential levels of organization. You would need to do an example of that for me and turn that in for credit. And that would be your day. I mean, that would be one full day. All right, let's go back to the other side of choose your own adventure. So if you want to do the one on your own, it's more journal, it's more thinking, it's more doing. You want to click the ecology challenge. And I know there's some of you out there that are excited about doing that non-traditional path. Okay, so this one will be due on the 29th as well. It is 50 points. Okay. There's a list of activities. You get to choose 5 of them. The caveat there is that all students going on this path must do the climate change. Us teachers believe that is a very important one. So you must do the climate change. Otherwise, you have 4 choices there. Your work will be documented here in the Google Slides. That will be pictures, research notes, and a reflection about your learning. Any other tasks that you would do would go just on that Google slide. It's kind of like a journal of your learning. And then grading for each challenge, you'll get 10 points. So 10 times 5, you would get the 50 points. So do you have thoughtful and accurate information? Do you use the language correctly? Did you do the research you needed for that task? Okay. 4 points for completing all parts of the task. Did you do it? Did you document it? Did you show me? Make sure you have all of that done. 1 slide for that. And then a reflection. We'll guide you through the reflection, but just reflect on your learning. Yeah, 3 points for that. Okay, so for each challenge, you'll have that. And there he goes, all the way down to challenge 5. Woo! There he goes. A lot of copy and pasting there. All right, so let's take a look at the challenge. Okay, so here you have to pick 5. 1 must include the climate change. First one, invasive species. Create an invasive species informational video, 1 minute or less. Succession, look at the pictures, choose an environment, explain how that works in an environment that you live in or nearby. Ecosystem environment, you're gonna look at some ecosystems in your house, or you could create your own little terrarium like in a milk jug or aquarium or shoebox even. Producers, go find a producer and answer some questions and learn about plants. Phrenology, this is some citizen scientist stuff if you're interested in one species, that's when does it bloom or last flower, or quite a bit of data there. So you could look through some of the data here in Minnesota. Energy and ecosystems, find some heterotrophs on your iPad and make your own food web. Here's the climate change challenge. You have some discussions, facts, research. Nature observation challenge. Go outside for half an hour every day and keep field notes. A lot of the famous ecologists did this, and they learned quite a few things about how nature works, how things interact with each other, how food, energy, and materials move through an ecosystem, and also just what type of environmental factors impact life. It's super interesting. Go back to nature. And then there's a challenge here at the end. What can you personally do as a challenge? So that's what the challenges would look like. You probably want to print that off and then take a look at it and figure out which ones you want to do. It's a little more reflective process there. Okay, now, how do you record your learning for that one? You don't have to turn in an assignment every day. You don't have to do a quiz. It's kind of nice. You're just going to keep some notes on this Google slide. So open this up, make a copy of this, and then this will be your journal. So maybe write your name on this first page, change your name up into the title here. That would really help. And then you could share that with me either when you're done or when you're working on it and need feedback. That would be fine too. All right, so which challenge are you going to do? Do your research, put your notes in it, this first slide. Any work that tasks that need to be completed. Show pictures of that here, document it. Put any notes that go with your work. And then the third slide is your reflection. What did you learn? What did you enjoy? What was hard? What questions did this open up inside of yourself for learning? So for each challenge, you would do that. And we've kind of copy and paste that all for there. If you need to add extra slides, that's fine. And we put the climate change stuff on there for you too. So you don't have to copy and paste that in there at the end. So that's kind of nice. If you want to look at an example of what one of those look like, we did include that on the slides as well. That would be the next link for there. Personal comment from me here. I do want to talk a little bit about the facts for climate change. And so I'm just going to show you my favorite graph. So this is how, I'm going to move to the side. Beep. This is how much global temperature and carbon dioxide has changed over the last 100 or 150 years. Normal levels of carbon dioxide are shown here on the y-axis on the right. So before the Industrial Revolution, we were in this like 280, 290, 300 area for carbon dioxide. And historically, we can go back looking at ice cores. And really between 200 and 300 are pretty normal. Above that, it really doesn't get that much higher due to natural causes, even with increased volcanoes or other natural fluctuations. It really doesn't go above 300 parts per million. So we're kind of in an uncharted territory now that we're burning coal and oil and gasoline and cutting down forests. We're putting out a lot of CO2 into the atmosphere. So here you can see the carbon dioxide rise. Last year, we were over 410 parts per million, which is kind of crazy. When I was in college, back in the ancient times of like 2002, we were at about 350. So even just since you guys were born, it's gone up 60 points. That is crazy. How have we not stopped it? And I saw you guys make some of those comments from the last unit. How have we not cut our emissions? We haven't. If anything, we've increased them. So that's the L line there, carbon dioxide in the units on the right. On the left-hand side, then you'll have increase in temperature. And this is a global average. We are about 1 or 1.1 degrees Celsius warmer. And for Fahrenheit, that's about 1.5 degrees or 1.7 degrees Fahrenheit. While that might not seem like much, it's enough that we've had some big problems, especially with insects and flooding and that kind of stuff. So this is the facts here. If you ever have a question about climate change or want to talk about it, I always come back to this. No, you can't argue that we've polluted and put in so much CO2 into the atmosphere. And you can't argue, no, global temperatures have increased. So please keep that in mind when you're going through the climate change stuff. And you can draw your, oops, wrong one. You can draw your own conclusions about that and as you investigate further. I also encourage you to protest on Fridays. You know, Greta has the protests every Fridays for climate change until we see some actual changes. There is some encouraging news, like if you ever drive through Iowa, 40% of their energy is gotten from renewables. They're the Midwest leader in wind energy. Why aren't we doing that here in Minnesota? What's going on there? But Iowa's been a good leader, and some other countries like Germany and France, they've been increasing like 50-60% of their energy from renewables. Germany is probably the world leader in solar technologies, and we're starting to see some of the solar technologies here in Minnesota. It's getting a little cheaper and a little bit easier to access. So anyway, that is your last unit. If you have questions, let me know. It's been a pleasure serving you guys and helping you to learn. So have a good day.